Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon, as Jared Brandon is not here tonight.
No.
He's busy in Nashville. He sends his regards. He is sad and lonely. Mostly sad.
No, he's not lonely.
No, that's right. He's got his
lady.
his friend.
His lady.
From. Anyways, but we do have
Rob Chafe, Mad Cow Amplification.
That's right. He's in the hizzy tonight. I think they say. Yes. Hey, everybody. It's me, Todd, Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. Thrilled to death that you are listening to our show. Wherever you are, we hope you are enjoying it, and we hope you have a good day or evening, because then that'll just make us feel good. Yes. All right. We also have a very fantastical type guest on the line right now. Who are you, guest?
Hey, this is Sean from Edge of Breakup. That sounds like my YouTube thing when I open up a video.
Yeah. Once
Thanks
in a while,
for having me.
Once in a while, you might forget it, and then it'll really scramble your brains. I did that on the last one. I was like, wait, what do I normally say?
Nothing like having a camera on to make you forget who you are for half an hour.
Yeah. Well, yes, we're glad that you're here. Edge of Breakup. Now, for those crazy people that may not even know what that is, could you just give a very short explanation and where they can find you whilst they are listening?
Yeah. It's funny if you watch enough shampoo commercials, you're going to hear the word lustrous, right, about hair, right?
Yes.
And so if you watch enough guitar demos, you're going to hear the phrase edge of breakup, because that is where you would set an amplifier to, so that when you play soft, your guitar is clean. When you play hard, it starts to break up. So
right.
You can find me on Instagram under that name, and also on YouTube. I'm now on TikTok as well, although very uncomfortable with it, the entire premise.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to do a little bit of Twitter too. But I think Instagram and YouTube are the main epicenter of the blast.
Are you scantily clad and dance a lot on your TikTok videos?
I'm starting to wear a lot more deep V t-shirts, if that's enticing.
That's OnlyFans, Tony.
Oh.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ruh-roh. So that's...
Can you erase that, Todd?
Yeah. Now, I was going to... I had a little joke in my back of my head. I'm going to say it anyways. You know where else you see the Edge of Breakup?
Where?
Watching a guy about 6 beers in at the local pub on date night.
There you go.
That was the worst punchline delivery
I know,
ever.
but it would have been great when I...
I thought that was when the band U2 broke up.
No, what?
That was the Edge of Breakup.
Man, that's really bad, Tony. That's like
I like his better.
I said that straight faced, like a concerned citizen.
Like a concerned citizen.
Anyways, we're gonna have a great time. We've got Sean from Edge of Breakup with that awesome intro. I gotta do that. I gotta do mine like that.
Thanks for having me.
Todd from the Guitar Knobs. Yeah. So yeah, you've got some great channels out there. Go check out. Unless you're driving or something, go check that out so that you have some context as to what we're talking about tonight. And let's see. Let's go, shall we?
Absolutely.
Do it. All right, we got a couple announcements we need to thank. Road! Gee, many Christmas, man. You're giving me the red lines on here.
Red lines.
That's right. Road Mike's,
put those red lines on there for a reason.
Yeah, to tell you to be quiet. All right, so...
It's not working.
It actually says that in the manual. It says, tell Tony to shut up. We got our buddies down at Road in Australia. So we want to say a big fat thanks and a big thank you to Nick for being our guy down there helping us out.
We love Nick.
And I also wanted to give a really nice thank you to our friend at Sweetwater. Now, all of you out there probably have a friend at Sweetwater who have called you maybe once or twice or 20 times.
I have several friends.
I actually have a call coming in right now.
It is one of the things that we love, and also, sometimes it can be like, for Pete's sakes, I just bought some picks or something. Hey, get out of here, dog.
He's gonna bone.
Okay. So Rob's got a dog in here tonight because he's sad or something and can't be left at
dog.
home.
You say that like Rob's
It's just
got a
distracting.
rhinoceros in here.
Todd, why do you hate
say
dogs?
it's okay. I don't hate dogs.
You hate dogs.
I don't hate dogs.
I think you do.
Dogs are like Stratocasters.
Do you eat hot dogs?
No, I don't.
See, you hate dogs.
Right. Anyways, back to Sweetwater, our friends at Sweetwater. Look, we all acknowledge their service is fantastic.
Top notch.
Agreed.
And it's like you order it, you put the phone down, and it's on your doorstep.
Not quite.
Almost.
I'm actually happy when they call, to be honest. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about that Big Muff for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, so I got a call like seconds after I placed an order yesterday.
Yep.
And I was like, Mini Christmas. And I was at work and I was like, come on, guys. Like, what? All I did was buy a little thing. Like, what do you need to talk to me about?
What'd you buy?
Well, you hold on. You've got a regular rep, like one rep assigned to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. All you got to do is just next time he calls, just say, "Hey, bud, I appreciate the phone call." Just follow up with an email. They'll never call you again.
Well, yeah, but I sometimes you do need to talk.
Oh.
Like our
Well,
friend Sean
Todd
just said.
misses that.
Let me get on with the story,
I'm saying
man.
like the courtesy stuff. I'm just okay. Never
All
mind.
right.
It's the only
tell
time
him
I've
this-
ever been happy to get that call for Sweetwater. It's nice.
Tell him to send an
Any
extra
other
bag of
company.
candy.
So here's the deal. But he texted me too, and I said, "Really, a phone and a text? Okay, let me see what's going on." Well, he said, "Hey, the thing you just ordered is actually back ordered," and I was like, "Wow, thank you for letting me know." And I said, "Like, are we talking about like a couple days, a week?" And he's like, probably about 2 months." And I was like,
Ooh.
That's good to know. Thank you." Unlike another thing that I just got recently that I ordered in December and just showed up the other day. So,
Really?
yeah, it was
Wow.
ridiculous.
That's redunculous.
Anyways, so I bought a 20 dB XLR line attenuator to help with the little demos that I'm doing, the little 1 minute wonders. Because I came in and I said, John, you're Rob. I said, John,
Yep.
over here at Fennel. He's like, yeah, Todd, what do you want? John's so grumpy. And I said, I want you to check out, this is exactly how I'm recording the stuff to put on the internet. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can. I want to make sure that I'm getting the best sound for people that are bothering to listen. And so he checked out a few things and made a few adjustments, and I was very happy about that within Logic. And he said, the biggest thing that you can do to help is to get a line attenuator, because it is just going to help. Because, on the little PreSonus USB thing, he's like, dude, I was at like 1, and your levels were like through the roof. There's nothing, I can't make it any lower. Yeah. And this will really help and give you clarity in your signal, and it'll be much easier to listen to, and it won't sound blown out. And I was like, thanks, John. So, hey, everybody, boy, I bet you can't wait to hear the next 1 minute wonder. It's going to be amazing.
Especially through your phone speaker.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I wanted to say a big thanks to Colin Blue, my Sweetwater rep, for hooking us up and we had a nice chat on the phone too. That's the thing, they get interested. Anyways, so there you go. And then the next thing we have, everybody, we've got a what? What do you?
I don't know what these looks are about.
Yeah, Tony's just giving me looks. He feels like he's being left out or something. So here is.
Why doesn't Colin call me?
I don't know.
'Cause it's
You
not
have
your
your
rep.
own person. So Sean was asking me
There's
about
that.
this. He said, Todd, have you got any letters in from listeners? Go ahead and say that, Steve.
Oh, right. Yeah. Before this, we were saying that.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did actually, Sean. Thanks for asking again. So here we go. It says, hey guys, I have, quote, heard, unquote, a lot about Sun amps. More specifically from, quote, Doom guys.
Doom.
Who seem to love them. I saw a listing for a Sun 190L head with a matching 312 cab, parentheses, odd. But it looked pretty cool, and I thought... and it made me think twice when I realized Doom was not even around when these amps were made. Late 60s, early 70s, I think. Correct? Question mark. Yeah. So, are these as good as everyone says? Question mark. Are they good for things besides Doom? Am I in for expensive repairs? Thanks, Steve T. So, amp expert Rob.
Tony.
Todd.
Hot potato.
What? I'm Rob. You're the amp
What?
expert.
Okay.
Just give us what I I don't know anything. I honestly really
Sun
don't
amps?
know anything except that when I see them up there, people seem, like that. It looks cool, and they seem to be highly sought after.
Is this listener in Hollywood now?
I don't know. I don't have any listing of where they are.
So, anyways, Sun amps. Okay, I've never heard a Sun amp that I was overly impressed with, but that's not necessarily always a bad thing. They're very
Loud.
They're very loud. Typically, a lot of headroom, but they don't have much of a unique tone in any way. It's very utilitarian. Is how I think about it.
It's more of a platform, or
Yeah, it
what?
could be
Yeah.
a good pedal platform.
Yeah, that's what pedal platformer. It's just very what you put into is what you get back out of it. You know, generic, but not necessarily in a bad way if that's what you want. But it's not like a Fender Twin or Super where yes, it's loud and clean, but it also has its own characteristic. Or
I would assume it would have to have be able to carry the lows really, really, really well. Like when I've seen them, they're playing big giant, the drop.
they're not particularly bassy or have a lot of lows or anything. If anything, I would say it's a tight low mid, but not necessarily bass, but more of a tight low mid. They're very affordable. Like average, you can get a Sun usually $300 to $500, maybe $600.
Really, they seem at least here. When I see them on Craigslist,
Really?
they're usually about $1,000.
Well, maybe they've jumped up, but historically, whenever somebody
Well,
brings
now
in-
that we've talked about it, I mean,
yeah.
$75,000.
Sean, have you had experience with Sun amps at all?
no, I haven't actually. I can picture them in my head, but I have not played one. I will guarantee that there's probably expensive repairs for any vintage amp.
Well,
though.
yeah, I mean, because it's 70s and most of them haven't been maintained, so that's
Yeah.
usually where I see them. Is somebody will bring them in. I'll give them an estimate of $300-$400 because it needs all the filter caps done and some
Sure.
pretty extensive stuff. And then they go, oh well, that's almost the value of it. So no.
So is it simply just that other people have them at the shows? And
I'm betting it might. The
they
reason,
do look really cool.
Well, and I'm just going to guess the reason that maybe it's got this little niche thing for it is that they are affordable, generally speaking, compared to another 100+ watt all tube amp.
Right.
And so if you buy one let's say $700-$800 even, that's still affordable for
Sure.
what it is, and it's very utilitarian, just generic-y,
I thought we saw the Suns were mostly solid state.
No,
they're tubes.
well, they did make solid state stuff too,
Yeah.
but no, most of the earlier stuff was tube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, anyways,
Okay. Well, what about that weird 312 speaker? Is that any?
That makes it special.
Does it?
I've
Yes.
never seen a Sun with a 312, but
312.
I'll take your word for it.
Cabinets are 312s, yes.
Really, I've never seen a Sun.
And then they've got
312.
bigger cabinets than that too. But
I mean,
yeah.
I've seen different but this one
Yeah.
in particular, I guess apparently
You
was
know
a
what?
312.
And that makes sense because
I've never seen one.
most of the time people just bring me in the head, so I don't see the.
Sounds very triangular.
not quite as triangular as like the Rickenbacker Transonics.
What? Triangular.
He has so much just worthless info. I don't even know what he's
You've
talking
never seen
about.
the Transonics that have the slanted cabinets?
Nope.
Led Zeppelin played them.
I don't think so.
That was like
played them.
Arctic Monkey. Three Monkeys do that too.
Similar. But theirs is actually a little more
And Vox
complicated.
did that.
No, not slanted like that.
Sort of Rickenbacker. What's it called?
It's called a Rickenbacker
I
Transonic.
thought Vox did that too.
No, not like this. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, you would know.
Nope. I have never seen those before.
You never saw this? No.
That is definitely retro. Was that like 60s, early 70s?
Late 60s into 70s, yeah. Zeppelin toured with them for like early 70s.
They're cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They must sound okay.
Yeah.
Never tried one.
Well,
So,
so I guess they're pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just is. Yeah.
But expect high repair bills.
Yeah. I mean,
Any vintage amp. I mean, that's
Bingo.
the long and short of it. You know, it's cool to own old stuff, but it's going to need fixed.
there you go.
Wasn't that like, didn't Wampler come out with like a tube head and cab combo that was like very generic just for pedal platform, didn't have its own character? It was black and
Yeah.
white a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Somebody made, there is the Wampler.
No, Wampler. I mean,
Oh, he actually-
well, because Wampler's distributed by Batuki Amps Distribution Bad.
Yes.
And he partnered with them
Okay,
to make
okay,
an
okay.
amp for a heartbeat. That's about it.
All right. Well, that was a great question, and we're grateful that we could talk about it and answer it. I don't know that we solved anything or
Nope,
got
not
any
really.
smarter, really.
Nope.
But at least, we
learned
talked
about
a little bit about
we
it.
learned
Talked about
about
it.
Rickenbacker transonic
trying-
amplifiers.
Yes,
This is true.
Why am I thinking that?
You're still
Man,
stuck on this Vox
I
thing.
am.
No. No.
Maybe
coffin.
Well, there is a Vox
Here we
that
go.
looks kind of like that,
Uh-huh.
but not coffin shaped.
Well, no. I mean, with the head on top. Like
yeah, when the head's
sitting
on.
and then
Yeah,
the other-
okay.
Yeah.
In a chrome cage.
Polyagonal.
Polyagonal. That's
Yeah.
a $20 word.
Yes.
Damn.
Okay, so again, Todd is half right. I love it.
Todd
as
is
long as I'm
always
half right. I'm good.
Todd is always half right.
To be half right all the time.
Yeah.
He's what you'd call a half-wit.
Right. Wow. Uh-huh. Anyways, that's going to cost you, Tony.
Oh, no.
All right. So now let's move on to what's going on in our music world this week. We're going to start out with our friend Rob over here. And then we're going to, just kidding.
Starting
we're going
with-
to start
I
with
was gonna say,
Tanya
what?
Belansky.
Yes.
Well, Tony's usually right there. So
Ah.
I pointed in the wrong direction. And then Sean is going to enlighten us with whatever is going on in his awesome musical world.
Would you like me to go
Yes,
now,
please.
Todd?
Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you. Wow.
Thanks for opening.
Yeah. Tough crowd.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually kind of a fun week. A good friend of the show, Mike Robinson from Eastwood Guitars. He's been a guest.
Yeah.
In Eastwood, they have Eastwood Guitars as well as Revoltas, which are designed by Dennis Fano. And down in Nashville, they have a kind of a combined showroom production area.
Yeah.
So Dennis Fano does his Novo guitars, and they bring in the Revoltas, which are made overseas, but they're all brought in and set up by techs in this same area.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool guitars, and Dennis Fano has just the perfect eye for guitar design in my book.
Mm-hmm.
So long story, even longer. Mike and I have done some trade work over the years. I make some pick guards for him if he has like a custom run, and I sent him a batch a couple of weeks back, and he said, "Oh, this is great. If you're interested in more trade, I can always use more guards." So I said, "Okay." I went on to the website, and I've been wanting to get a Revolta, and they just released a semi-hollow, kind of like an ES335, but more a little offset shape. It's kind of a cross between a 335 and like a Starcaster. Mm-hmm. And the F-holes look really cool on it. It's got a 6-in-line headstock. It's just, it's very...
They're tasteful F-holes. I think some people are not tasteful with the F-holes. It's just
it
too
looks
open.
great.
It's like, man, I don't need to see all of the guitar inside. Jeez Louise.
So I sent an email back to Mike. I said, well, I see you've got one here, and what would you think about doing a trade for that? And he said, well, that's going to be an awful lot of pick guards. I said, yeah, it will be. But we went back and forth, a little bit. He sent me, is this your current mailing address?
Did you give it mine?
Yes, I did
Smart
put
man.
yours down there. And
That'll get you out of the jam you got yourself into a couple minutes ago.
Which was that? But I got notice today that it is shipping from Nashville. Might be here this weekend.
That's
probably
awesome.
Monday at the latest. It's just a cool looking guitar. I mean, I like the other guitars in the Revolta line too, but I do really like semi-hollow guitars.
Yeah.
And this is a cool one.
And you said it's natural finish?
It's a natural finish, yeah. They call it, I forget what the terminology they use.
Natural.
Something glow.
Yeah.
Natural. That's the finish they call it.
It's natural glow.
Wood glow.
But it's cool. And, I'll have a full report here hopefully by the next podcast.
Neato.
We can check it out, bring it down. We'll see what everybody thinks.
I like it.
He's a fascinating designer. I mean, there's probably documentaries all you can read about Leo Fender or Seth Lover, but I think I'd love to watch a Dennis Fano.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
documentary at some point,
And that's the weird thing. It's sort of like, if you think about back in the day, like were people in wonder about, Leo, were people in wonder about the people that were making the
that boy got kicked in the head by a horse.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't. There probably wasn't the like, oh wow, this guy's what the mystique and blah 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 blah. So now we've got this guy who's doing really fantastic things.
Oh yeah,
over and over and over again.
To be appreciated in one's own time,
Right.
Well, I appreciate him.
Yeah.
I mean the Novo stuff.
He was a super nice guy when we got to.
Yeah,
meet
we
him.
got to meet him.
Oh, really?
He's super chill but he's. I mean, it's just the stuff that he comes up with is fantastic.
The first time I ever saw Fano was probably when I started watching a lot of YouTube guitar stuff, the Living Room Guitar channel.
Yeah.
Forget the gentleman's name. He's great, but he was always playing a Fano in the early days with Firebird pickups in it. I remember. Mm-hmm. Really nice.
And the Novo stuff now that that he's involved with is really good. And then sub group the Revolta line is just really nice.
Yeah.
I mean
it's pretty affordable.
Yeah, the Revolta line I think is very affordable. The Novo stuff can be a little pricey, but they're cool guitars.
It's pricey.
Novo, it's more of just you look at them and you're like, that's a matter of time for me.
Yeah, it is.
It's happening. I just don't know when.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, it still feels, it's not like, oh, I'm getting a guitar that's been the exact same thing for like 75 years or something. It's like, no, these are new and they're changing, and who knows, maybe there won't be any more of these later. Maybe he bails on that like on Fano and does something totally different.
Well, he didn't bail on.
Well, no. I don't mean bail like he was like, no, see you, Fano.
How dare you?
Especially since it was his name on.
Yeah, no. But what I mean is starting a new project. Let me rephrase that for everybody. Don't throw rocks at me, okay?
Oh my God.
We've derailed already.
Yeah,
it's great.
All right, let's check in with Sean. What's going on in your music world that is probably, hopefully, shorter than whatever Tony was talking about?
I don't know if I can guarantee that, but yeah, musically, right now, I'm just going into the chasms of information about like the band and Bob Dylan and all that era. And so every night I'm putting my kids to bed with like The Last Waltz and read Levon Helm's biography and Robbie Robertson's. So I'm just really getting obsessed with that stuff and learning all their catalog by ear. And so when you hear me playing demos, a lot of times I'm just kind of improving over to the band chords a lot of times in my head. Cool. So, but yeah, I don't know if you guys are into that kind of stuff, but
yeah, I like a lot of it. I'm not as big a fan of the band, but they have their place.
That's also one of those matter of time things. Is like some point I'm probably gonna like get it.
Virgil Kane is my name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It took me I'm turning 40 this year, and it took me until like probably 2 years ago to finally click with it. It was interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's some great documentaries, actually. I think there's one called The Last Waltz.
Yes.
There is. Yeah, that's
that on. That's not on Netflix. I think it's on Hulu.
Yeah, it's
on
a
Hulu.
Documentary all about their last concert together in San Francisco's Winterland Ballroom.
Yes, very good.
Yeah,
I like this guy. He's like a historian like me.
I got to hear. He was. Who was? Somebody was interviewing Robbie Robertson about the band, and talking about how, I'm trying to think. I think it was like on one of the Tom Petty, one of the Tom Petty guys in the band. They all have their own Sirius XM radio channel. I feel like, or at least segment on Tom Petty radio. I think it was there. I could be wrong. Anyways, he was talking about how it was so crazy playing with Dylan because he was like, it was a complete guess at whatever was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you couldn't count him in. He would count you in.
Yeah.
To start the song.
So I just thought that was really fascinating because you have all these extremely talented guys who, after a while, kind of figured out how to do that and how that actually shaped their own music.
Yeah.
So very
natural. I mean, they weren't like a jam band improvisers, but they could sure improvise a set with no plan ahead of time.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. Gear wise, I've been kind of just obsessed with my Benson Vincent, which is kind of the channel switching 212 model.
Nice. That's
Chris's
nice.
stuff is just every day I find something else I like about it. There's just a million little microclimates of, oh yeah, if like the volume is here and the gain is there and the EQ, there's just, he has a way of packing in so much value into like just 4 knobs. It's really wild stuff. And
yeah, those are another one that get an awful lot of recognition. I feel like there's a pretty high percentage of people that come on the show and who actually own one of those or a Monarch or whatever it may be. And shockingly, we were lucky enough to have him on. I think it was what episode was that? That was episode 59.
59. Oh
he
my
took
God.
a chance on us. Jeez.
59.
That's the Benson episode?
Yeah.
Boy, he sure did.
Yeah. I mean, and that was when he was still covering him in the like the pillowcase fabric.
right.
So
He's such a wonderful guy. Like so
he's
humble,
super nice dude. And I think that was when we started to get okay at what we were doing. So you might want to go back and check out that episode.
But don't listen to 58. It was horrible.
It probably was. Hey, listen, anybody who is going backwards or starting from the beginning, like skip the first 20 or so. I couldn't. Yeah, it would be very hard to listen to that now. I gotta admit, like from my point of view, I'd be just cringing. Anyways, okay, so Rob, what's going on, buddy?
Placed a big tube order. Actually, two big tube orders this week.
Not a tuba.
Not a tuba order.
A tuba is a big instrument.
Yeah,
It is. That'd be a lot of freight.
And if 2 tubas would be.
That comes in a crate.
Yeah.
Drop it on my driveway. Yeah. No, actually, I was what's the word I'm looking for here? I could
Predicting?
see
Inspired?
I could see the future.
Oh.
On Monday, I called.
You were a soothsayer.
Yes. So with everything going on in Russia and everything, there's only 2 active tube factories. We've talked about that because China's out of commission right now. So you got Czechoslovakia with JJ,
right,
and then all the new sensor, Electroharmonix, Tungsol, Mullard, all that comes out of Russia. So, and they're providing more than half of the tube supply right now in current production. So I was like, because they do a lot more than JJ does.
When you say you placed a big order, what's a big order of tubes?
Yeah. Now for me, I'm not manufacturer, just repair. I ordered, I think just around 300 pieces from New Sensor
son.
and like 200 from JJ. And let me back this up. I'm currently sitting on almost a full year of inventory. I probably got about 800 tubes in stock. But I mean, if things go real south here,
Can I buy stock in that stock that you got?
sure, and we'll speculate on.
So we'll
my
do another
tube
big
shortage.
order, yeah,
Well, no,
and then we can repair them.
So my rep at New Sensor, I wanted to get, I don't know, whatever, 50 of these Tungsol preamp tubes. He's like, you better order 100. I was like, well, but I only need 50. He's like, right, but depending on how much you order is how much we release. He's like, we're rationing already. So I said, so if I order 100, he was like, you actually get 50, and you might get 50 in 6 months.
Oh my God!
I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, and this was before the invasion happened. So
Good thing I still have my PV Classic VTX.
yeah. So anyway, so I've after this, I should have stock for at least this whole year, some of next year, because
You never know.
yeah, I mean, if we embargo Russia to the point that they're not shipping any tubes to us, that'll hit the end of this year, early next year. We'd run out of stock.
Yeah,
so.
and then it's
That'll be right when my tubes break, right at that moment.
and all of a sudden, what was a $25 6L6 will be $250. So, anyways, that's my music week, is spending lots of money on tubes that I'm not going to use for a year, but I'd rather have them than be stuck out of work because I don't have parts.
Well, again, we've talked about this before. The space
I'm
program
working on
is
this.
growing.
Yeah.
You can do the tube repair business.
Well, the problem with that is that I was working out a deal with the cosmonauts to take me up because that was the cheapest way.
SpaceX.
Well, see,
I can't believe there's not one up there in Toledo doing this. I mean, that was like the glass flipping capital of the
tubes.
They never made tubes.
Well, I know, but they're famous for glass. Toledo's famous for glass making.
Between the cost of labor and
What?
OSHA,
Am I wrong?
a tube made in Toledo would cost you like
Hey.
a down payment on a car.
Well, if you can't get one, then
Yeah. Well.
I do have a PVVTX. For
Yeah.
sale.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on to your Saucy amps. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's my music week.
630.
Yes. Okay.
How about you, Todd?
Actually,
Todd.
yeah. Well, I had so maybe some of you recall me talking about the bass called Stinky.
Yes.
So I have speaking of PV, I have a 1981 PV Fury bass, which I got for a steal
Wait a minute,
out of,
a 19
like
what?
pretty sure two crackheads with a Taurus.
19 what?
I think it's an 81.
PV had the best names.
think
I had
they made
I had a
Furies
Rage
back then.
108. You had a Fury bass amp. It's
Pretty
fantastic.
sure I tried to date it. Yeah.
We'll check that later.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so, I'm sorry, Sean. You want to go ahead?
Oh, I was
had
just
a-
saying,
he had a
PV had the best names.
Fury.
Fury and I had a Rage 108
Yeah.
solid 8 amp.
But it
sounded
said
terrible.
Fury really, really small and in cursive writing. It's just kind of funny. It's like Fury. Anyways, it is. I really like the neck on the thing is fantastic. It is a really nice neck. It's all like, it's a really good instrument.
Is it a USA made one?
It's USA, yeah.
I'll tell you a little
This is back
something.
when it still had. So it's got the pinstripe around the headstock. It's got the pointy PV logo and the script, the script name on it.
Yeah.
And it's just a P bass essentially, except it's a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
And a little bit more ergonomic.
Yeah.
And all maple neck. No. Anyways, so the reason it's called Stinky is that I got it in the middle of Ohio, and I'm pretty sure it's from two crackheads who had it in the back. Got broke into somebody's basement and stole it. I'm not really sure. I don't think that's the case. That's definitely not the case. I don't have a stolen bass. Anyways, when I opened it up, put it on the ground, open it up, and I was like, cool. And he's like, $125. And I give him the money, and then he got in the car, and they were like, "Rrr." And I was like, that was odd. Put it in my car, took it back home, opened it up, and then I was like, oh my God. And
Stench.
basically it was a litter box.
Oh.
So it's just reeked of beer, cigarettes, and cat urine. It was, the combination is...
So what are you going to do with that?
The tang it produced was something amazing. Anyways, it was extremely smelly. And it had the really great old molded case with the PV on the front and everything. It's a great case. It's a great setup for $125. Why am I can't. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It has taken years to get the smell out, and if you put the bass back in the case,
is the bass stink or is it the case?
they both stink.
Okay.
Because, and then when I got the bass, I had to take the cover. Like I was just like, well, this thing's disgusting, and I took the
foam.
No, I didn't take the foam out, but I took the pick guard off, which all the electronics are on, and underneath it was just like. It was like a toilet in there. And I was like, what? So I had to clean that out and everything.
So the cat had been peeing in the bass?
and beer and lots of heavy cigarette smoke. Anyways, it is much more manageable. It's a faint smell, but you can still kind of go, what's that? And anyways, the pickup had dropped out of the plastic recently because my daughter's playing it. I posted a picture of my daughter playing the bass with the old PV rig and everything. And she came home and she said, hey, does this look right? And you couldn't see the poles anymore, but the pickup was still down there. And so I took it over to my buddy Chase, and we basically put all new electronics in it.
Smart.
He did such a great job. And it was kept the same pickups in there, and it sounds fantastic, and it plays great. And so, yeah.
Nice. Could he get rid of the rest of the smell?
No.
Was he like
But
N95 and rubber gloves?
He's like, I gotta see this stinky thing. He's got this really kind of cheery like way of looking at things. And then he's like, oh man, like, yeah, this thing stinks.
You thought you were making it up?
Yeah, no, he did. He got a quick lesson in the stinky. Anyways, but now it's a thing. We can't get rid of stinky. I can't sell it. It's
Who are you going to sell it to?
Well, yeah, but
somebody that has
but it doesn't
olfactory.
It's not this. It doesn't stink so bad now. It's just like if you put your nose up to, you're like, okay, this has got some.
Are you still putting it back in the case? Like, because the case is probably recharging the smell every time you put it in there.
You're not wrong, but I can't get myself to part with the case because where am I going to find another molded PV base case of that year? Like,
someone's got to specialize
Tony,
in refurbing
Yeah, I've got
PV
5
cases.
of them.
I was saying pretty much any pawn shops probably got a half dozen in the back.
well, if I find one or if anybody knows of one, I'd be willing to investigate that.
Yeah.
So
How many pick guards would that be worth? I wonder.
Yeah.
1.5.
Yeah. Anyways, so, oh boy, we got more stuff to talk about. Speaking of good things to talk about, I just want to bring up our friends at Tour Gear make a really fantastic product.
What is it?
Well, it is the Tour Gear patch cables, which if Jared was here, he would eventually
It's the
get out.
connecting thingies,
Yeah.
the little tiny tops, and they're flat. They're very flat.
It's fun trying to see if how that will go.
Pedal connectors.
Yes. So, anyways, they do make a really great product, and one of the things that I'm hoping to do is actually get a sample of those out to new patrons.
Oh, that's a very good
Yeah.
idea.
So we're switching a couple things up and just getting at least just one in there and going, hey, you should try this. That's really good stuff.
Trying to get them hooked.
I think that you should get the W cables that I like so much.
Yeah, lots of those. Anyways, if you go to tourgeardesigns.com and you decide to order a bunch, you can use the guitar knobs and save 10% off your order. And
That's all one word, isn't it?
that is all one word. And the 10% is mighty nice. And much like Sweetwater, those things ship really fast.
And
Good
we'll
people
call
there.
you right after you buy it. Like, as soon as you click order.
They will not do that.
And if you live in Canada, we're told they get delivered by the owner in person by car.
I don't know that they can guarantee that. Yeah. Anyhow, so check out tourgeardesigns.com, and they got some new products there too, which we're gonna have to dig into.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that'll be exciting to talk about in the future. Thank you, Tour Gear, for sponsoring our 4 on the floor.
Let me
Let me get a little bit of this.
A little bit
Of this.
Of this.
That's fine, just like that.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right, Sean from Edge of Breakup. I said it like you say it. What is your 4 on the floor?
Thanks. You're contractually obligated to say it that way. So I got to start where every board I think should start with fuzz. So I'm going to go King Tone mini fuzz. The tough choice is silicon or germanium there, and you can't really lose either way. But the silicon cleanup on that is really, really nice with the treble bleed and the strat. So I'm going to go with that for first and chain.
Let me ask you a question before you motor on through this. You're blazing through this.
Am I? Okay.
No, that's okay. It's okay. Well, we're just messing around with you. So do you prefer germanium or silicon on fuzzes in particular?
Yeah, I see merits to both, honestly. I think there's a textural thing with silicon cleanup. I'm all about the volume knob with fuzz. So that being said, the kind of woolliness of that germanium, I think that's like the leading industry term to describe germanium fuzz is woolliness, warmness. Jesse's a good friend of mine, and we talk pretty often, and I had to end up buying both of those. So it's nice that they're the same form factor. I could just swap them on and off with each other.
That's cool. Can you really hear a huge difference between the two, or is it a matter of taste?
I think it's a little bit of note attack on the silicon. This is where it gets really subjective, but it almost feels like stepping on fall leaves when you clean it up. Like it's kind of crisp on the attack. That sounds like I'm
very
describing wine or coffee now.
I feel like you're going to pour me a nice glass of chilled Chablis. Which that doesn't exist, a nice glass of
To be clear, though, I mean, I do have a demo that showcases both of them, and I got a lot of comments back on that saying, I can't actually tell the difference. I'm like, yeah, I think that's fair. It's a little bit of a feel thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you use the fall leaves analogy?
No.
You
Comments
should've.
like that, I'm just
See?
like, pretty sure you're on your phone listening to and telling me you can't hear the difference. So
Yeah.
Or
This is
NPR.
awesome.
NPR.
thanks for tuning in. Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. No, let me ask you one more question. On your board, are you a person who's like, all germanium must come before the tuner or something?
It's funny, like the tuner and wah and fuzz battle for first and chain it's so, I don't know. I like the Benson germanium fuzz a lot too, because you can kind of get away with putting other stuff before it. But even if you can do that, you still can't clean it up with your volume knob if there's something between the fuzz and you. So, I mean, the Benson lets you do that because it has the impedance knob, which is nice.
Right.
I would actually rather not have a tuner on the board and find another way to do it, or put the tuner later in the chain and turn the buffer off just so the fuzz can still be first. Because to me, that's the most important.
Right. Okay. So that answers the question. You do try to isolate any sort of germaniumness before it goes into the rest of the signal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some tuners have a lot of problems with that. Others don't. I think the Polytune ones by TC, you can turn off the buffer, which helps.
Yes,
but,
you can.
yeah.
So actually, that's only the Polytune 3. You can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
See, what's number 2?
So once I get the fuzz taken care of, I think it's, this is a pretty small board we're talking about though. So I want to cover kind of like an amp like drive situation and bring in a little mod. And I think like a real power player for that is the what was the Revival Trem is now the Deluxe 61 by Origin Effects. You guys played those?
I have not.
I have not either.
Nope.
That
It
makes
is
3.
one of the most gratifying tremolo experiences out there, because a lot of times when you play a trem, you dig in with your pick and you get caught in the trough of like the waveform, and it's almost like you miss the rope and jump rope a little bit. This is like amp bias trem. So when you dig in, it actually defeats the trem until you kind of back off, and then it comes back in. But it's very like gushy, like it's very like there's like a big sag effect to
Like a wet fall leaf.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, see, I didn't have to go back to my analogies.
No, a wet fall leaf, Tony.
Well, it's like
the
the middle of the leaves got wet, but the outside is still crunchy. So
okay, yeah, man. So this
like
is
like a pile of leaves.
Like a Fig Newton.
right, similar to that.
How did you know I was going to Fig Newton?
You said this is a revival trem, right?
Yeah, it got rebranded because of some issues with another manufacturer. I think it's called the Deluxe 61 now, but I still have the original Revival Trem.
That is an expensive pedal.
It is. You know what though, man, their stuff, it really is in some of my top choices. So if you can just like go try it in a store, like good luck getting out of that store without trying to figure out what you're going to sell to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for a tremolo.
But I mean, to be fair, it's actually like it's a deluxe kind of Fender preamp too, and so
that is okay. Yeah, that's
you get gain in it as well, and so that's another reason I paired it with the mini fuzz, because you can slam the front of like a Fender Deluxe with the fuzz.
Yeah,
and then add trem if you want to, whatever. But
that's a lot of money for a trem.
Fair play. That's cricket. Okay, that's what they say over there. Just like
should I clap now?
Okay, let's go for number 3.
All right, I'm going to bring it back to Kingtone here, because I do need a vibe on the board, and so of all the vibes I've tried, I've got the Jam Retro vibe coming soon to demo, and I'm really excited about that. But right now, the King Tone 1968 vibe is probably number one. And the reason for that is that it's got two vibes in it. And each side has independent chorus or vibrato modes and independent speed and depth. And I'm not done here, sorry.
Okay, take your time.
You can ramp between, you can literally like ramp between the sides. And it'll even ramp between the modes and crossfade them. So one side could be chorus, the other vibrato, slow pulse, shallow versus fast pulse, deep. And you can fake rotary sounds from it. I mean, it's wild. Jesse Davey nailed that. And it's not the size of a small country, and it doesn't need some weird power adapter. It does need 18 volts, though. But I use those Strymon power supplies that come with variable voltage, so it's not an issue.
Right.
Yep.
You're racking up quite a bill here, buddy.
Well,
I'm clocking you at 1,500 so far for 3 pedals.
Are you seriously adding a
you
book
asked
over
me
there?
for the one board that can do it all. I mean, so it's going to be pricey.
Yeah, okay.
I got a lot of DMs from folks on Instagram telling me you're costing me a lot of money. So this is not the first time.
No doubt. Okay, I can't wait to see what you have for number 4.
All right, so I'm going to assume my amp has reverb covered in this scenario. So we're going to do Jam Pedals Delay Llama Extreme.
Oh, that's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
Very good.
I have the Delay Llama Deluxe.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's got a tape mode on it, as well as a vibrato mode. And I mean, this standard mode too. But I've really fallen in love with that tape mode with the tape modulation on the repeats.
Yeah.
Have you played with that?
I don't have that one. I got the one just before they went to that version. It's all red. It's just the 3 knob. I think it's 2 buttons, 3 knobs. One just does sort of like a bit of a ramp kind of a thing on it.
Gotcha.
But it is one of those things. It sounds crazy when we're talking about it like this, like fall leaves and all that business. But you plug it in and you hear it and you're like, well, damn.
Yep.
That sounds absolutely beautiful.
And didn't they just nail the EQ on it? Like it sits there. A lot of analog delays get really cloudy and really messed up in the mids around your playing. So you can't use them high mix. They nailed the EQ on this. So it sits right.
Yeah.
So.
It is a super nice pedal. And so wait, the version that you have is the Jam Delay Llama, which one?
Extreme with no EX, just X. It sounds like a new Taco Bell burrito that's going to destroy your insides.
Right.
But the Delay Llama Extreme.
Yeah. And that is, oddly enough, that's one of the cheaper Jam pedals.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
Well, compared to those, the custom monstrosities where you can do 12 of their pedals in one enclosure, and they custom paint them, they're amazing. So cool.
Yeah, so you're just with tax,
and shipping.
and you're going to need your power supply. Yeah, you're right at about $2,000 for this board here, bud.
What about the board too? Don't forget.
The board. Oh my gosh. Well, now
at least a piece of plywood's $20.
We're going. You're pushing 2,500 now.
Yeah, this is standard
cabling.
Standard Sean behavior here, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, the cables don't cost that much if you use Tour Gear Design.
That is true.
And use the discount
and
code.
the discount.
I'll give a shout out. I'm a Caulfield Cables artist. So for those,
there you go. Or if you're using Caulfield, man, no, I'm not gonna be able to say that. Caulfield cables.
Solderly.
Well, I really like that board that you have, and I gotta say, I would steal it in a second.
That's a great board. I mean, that covers. I mean, I think your approach to this was very well done because that is something that is, you. Even if your amp didn't have reverb, you'd sound pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think you could kind of get some slapback going on, and it could sound reverby with a long repeat on the slap.
Yep.
Yeah. You have a lot of tasteful movement possibilities on that board, I think.
Lots of brand.
Yeah. lots of brand. Right.
Not a phrase.
Is now. All right. So we have got Sean from Edge of Breakup and
say it right.
Sean from Edge of Breakup.
Ooh, that was moody. Nice.
Yeah. And you're doing one of the things that we like out there, which is talking about gear and showing people like what the gear does and getting people excited about gear that maybe either they wouldn't have the opportunity to play, don't know about, or
is that kind of like things. Demonstrations?
Well, I don't want to, I don't want to just say demos. It's like that. I do think that kind of undercuts. There's a lot that goes into this. So like, when people just say demos, it's like cheapens it.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So why don't you kind of give us the layman's approach? I don't know anything about your show, Sean. What do you do?
Thanks for the setup. It's funny. I started out mostly with photography with this channel, and I got noticed by some manufacturers who wanted some photography, and then that kind of took off. But then I really wanted to start showcasing my playing side as well. And I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I kind of had the static thing under control. But when it came to like creating video, it was a little bit outside of my skill set. But I took the plunge a little while ago, and at first I was like literally just like using Ken Burns effect on my photography and just recording audio over it just to accomplish a little bit of motion, fake it till you make it. But I finally made the jump to create demos it had to be about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago now. And it has steadily gotten more and more insane. I'm up to 6 or 7 camera angles now.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
And it's fun. I started calling them director's cuts because I love almost creating like a little documentary out of it.
Yeah.
Another theme with my channel that maybe is more of a thesis statement for my channel is I really, the physical and visual design of a pedal really, really matters to me. So
it does.
I try and put that first.
Thank you. With somebody over on my side over here with that, I appreciate that.
But that being said,
I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Right. Then that's good for you if you don't care, but I care. It would drive, like typography drives me nuts when it's not properly done on pedals and crowded designs and all that stuff. So, that's kind of a gating factor for my channel. And, interestingly, that kind of led me to meet Lawrence Petros from LPD Pedals, and he was asking for some help, and I was like, man, we got to get you some new clothes, let's talk about doing a little bit of design together. And so I ended up rebranding his company, and we've done a lot of launches together out there. And so that was my first foray into actually designing pedals, which was, I never expected that to happen when I was starting this little endeavor. And I even did Jay Leonard J. You guys know Jay Leonard J, right? Yeah. I mean, what a guitar darling that dude is in the industry, right? Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
And I tweeted when I left NAMM last time with the hashtag NAMM regrets. And I said, my only regret was I didn't meet Jay Leonard J. Within 2 seconds, he appeared like a genie and replied to me.
A very
and was like, hey,
nice genie.
Maybe he could be our would you rather genie today.
He could be. If you want to work him in there, you do it.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Jay Leonard J.
So I ended up doing his branding after we talked for a little while. And so if you go look at his videos, I did his logo and a bunch of other stuff. So it's been really cool. It's been kind of multifaceted from graphic design to cinematography to playing. And honestly, this experience has made me a lot better of a guitar player. I try and place a lot of emphasis on improvisation and reacting to the pedal in real time. I don't write what I'm going to play ahead of time.
Yeah. I totally understand that, and I agree with that. Actually, I'm gonna have a 2-part response to that, if you don't mind. If everybody will bear with me for a second.
No, just one.
Number one, that was a paralyzing thing, actually. That before I started doing the little 1-minute wonders on Instagram, which are, look, I mean, you're doing, freaking Scorsese stuff compared to what I'm doing. But
we're back to the last waltz already.
Yeah. But
exactly.
But going, okay, I got this pedal. I don't know what. Like, I'm gonna have to figure out. Honestly, it made me not want to do it because I didn't want to. I was just like, man, if I put myself there, everybody's just gonna freaking trash me. I'm gonna get lambasted on. And it's the whole thing. Anyways.
I'd do that.
They're going to trash you even if you do well.
They might. They probably do. Yes, behind my back for sure.
If I could figure out how to use Instagram, I would trash you.
You probably would. But what I did was, to your point, instead of trying to say, I'm going to make this, I honestly just plug in and just start playing. And like whatever the piece of gear is sort of like wanting to do, I do try to really just go with that.
Yeah. Well, there are some great channels that are doing covers of like huge songs, right? And
yeah.
And they're not just like jamming a pedal into that song and being like, oh, this is how we're going to play. It's like, no, they're really curating their sounds. And I respect that too. And then you got like William John Bennett III doing awesome memes. And for me, it's more like, this is almost like meditation for me. Like when I come in and sit down with a piece of gear, sometimes I don't even realize it's been 25 minutes in some cases, and I might spend, I'm not going to spend 25% of the time on the tape mode and then 25% on the digital mode. It's like, whatever draws me in, I'm going to show you that.
Yep. Totally understand. And so the second part of that, had been watching, I think I mentioned this before, but I was watching the Gibson TV channel on YouTube. Mostly just, well, I don't even know why. I'm curious, I love seeing all the people's guitars collections and all that stuff. But I was watching the Dweezil Zappa one. I am not a Zappa fan. Okay, so check that on something that like don't like Strats. Don't want to own a dog, and I'm not a Zappa guy. But Dweezil has first of all, he seems to be a very charming, awesome dude, and he's got this pretty fantastic guitar collection. One of the things that he was talking about when he was going through some of these is really reacting to what the guitar and or pedals want to do. So he did a bunch of pedal combinations, and he was talking about how he would put these things together and get these really radical sounds, not knowing what was going to come out of it, but then just saying, I'm going to let this shape the thing that I'm going to create, instead of thinking that you're going to create something using a tool that you're choosing. And I thought that was really cool. And I appreciated that, and I related it because a lot of his pedals and guitars, I mean, they're making crazy, crazy, crazy noises. And some of the technology that he's putting into his guitars, like his father did, it's just like, what? How did you come to this conclusion? And it's really it's just inspiring. It's cool to hear a different perspective on something that you think that you understand.
Yeah, I saw that episode. It was wild. A lot of modded guitars in the Zappa collection.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So you saw that, and the one that he had where it was after the microtonal. Half of the fretboard was microtonal, and the other half wasn't, which is like whatever. But then the second one, the fretboard was split down the middle as far as fretted and unfretted. So the first three strings are fretted, the last three are not fretted, and he was using a Sustainiac to play this guitar, and it sounded awesome. And it didn't sound like, oh, I know exactly what it's going to sound like. So he's saying, whatever this sound is making, I'm going to make a song based on what this guitar now can do. I think that's really, really inspiring.
Yes.
Thank you, Tony.
Agree.
Yes.
Tony, yes.
Yeah, with style, with the way I play, that's one thing that came out of this channel was like, I definitely feel like I have a style now that's like materialized over the last couple of years. And I do think it is helpful to the end viewer that you already know how I sound maybe. And so what you're hearing is like the pedal on top of what you're already familiar with.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting.
I do also, because like I'm not a fantastic player. And I'm the first one to admit this. I'm a hack, but both you guys see it. I see what you're doing over there.
He's not.
So I have to play within like what I like to play. That's the other thing. I don't want to say, "Oh, cool! I'm going to make this sound like something I would never play," because it's not going to feel right, and it's not going to. I think that'll come through. So I play things within my realm of like I'm going to let this kind of shape something that I might be familiar with or like I could do. And I wish I could, like, maybe I wish, maybe I don't wish, maybe I don't care. Maybe doing like all this other crazy stuff that, I don't know. But anyways, I understand what you're saying. That's my point.
Well, playing to your wheelhouse is ultimately a pretty relatable move for people because the audience out there is all over the skill set. And like, you can feel sure that no matter how advanced you are or what stage you're at, all you can hear in your own playing is your own flaws.
Yeah.
Usually.
Too true.
And so I feel that way about my playing. And I think the more dialed in you get, the more nuanced you feel about that gap that you'd like to close.
Fair play. Yeah. So how did you find yourself in the guitar world? Like, is this just always been a thing, or?
Well, I think I've been playing for 28 years, and I played bands like when I was coming up in high school and stuff. But then I kind of went into like an acoustic stage where I didn't understand why I didn't sound the way I wanted to sound. And in that era, that was like in the early 2000s, there was no That Pedal show yet to actually enlighten us. And I have to say, they really changed my life. Like, I got to give it to Mick and Dan. They built such an amazing thing. And it wasn't until about 2017 that I just went to NAMM because a friend got me a pass just to go check it out. And I fell down a very, very steep hill in 2017. And I think the first pedal I bought, so I went from buying a Sound Tank Ibanez flanger in in high school and not touching pedals until I bought a Strymon Deco that year at NAMM.
That's a great pedal.
Yeah, fun one to jump back in with. And then before I knew it, it was like, oh man!
Before you knew it, you had a $2,000 4-pedal board.
I'm a little obsessive. I got several boards, to be honest, and none of them have 4 pedals only. So yeah, I'm a little nuts about it. But I think there are worse hobbies to be into. But maybe I can prove that wrong. Maybe this is the worst, but the best midlife crisis ever. So
understandable. Now, let me ask you: when you who were some of your musical influences that got you into loving guitar?
Oh man, I think I got to start with like Radiohead. And when I was coming up in high school in the 90s, actually this was middle school. My friend, on a whim, I think like High and Dry had just come out. The Benz tour was happening, and he got me tickets, and like full on, like his mom took us in their minivan, right? And I'm standing there outside San Francisco, like, what am I doing here? And then I saw Johnny play, the ascending riff on Just, and like the pitch shifting of My Iron Lung, and like all the sound effects behind Bulletproof. And I was just like, I don't know what I was doing before this, but I'm a different person now. Like, it just really changed me. And it wasn't long until I was putting paper out money at that point into buying my first Telecaster, not long after that.
Yeah.
And that's the guitar I played until I was, until that NAMM trip, pretty much, to be honest. So they were really formative for me. Besides that, Jimi Hendrix, very fond memories of my dad opening the record cabinet that still had baby proofing from when we were little on it and showing me all the vinyl for the first time. And being like, man, look at this. So he had like smash hits by Hendrix and like Rainbow Bridge. And, and so I remember feeling so passionate about Hendrix, and I assumed it was newer than when Hendrix came out because of the way it sounded. It's timeless, so.
Wow. What were some of the things that you kind of got stuck on? Like when you were coming up, were you like, oh, amps, I got it figured out. I know what this does. Guitars. Yeah, no problem. I understand it. Like, was there anything in particular that you just really couldn't wrap your head around that maybe held you back? Yeah,
I think for me, bridge pickups didn't make any sense. And especially Telecaster bridge pickups. I think I was trying to sound like Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead, not realizing that he plays like lace sensor, which are effectively like a humbucking sounding pickup on a Tele Plus from the 80s. And so I was trying to get a standard 50th anniversary 96 Telecaster to sound like that. And, you really need, I just don't think Fender's wiring in the 90s was very good at that price point. And in my head, I had spent the money and I had bought the instrument of my dreams, but not realizing that there were so much better guitars to probably buy, but probably out of my price range. So it wasn't until I got into like Nash guitars at a certain point that I realized, okay, Lawler pickups, orange drop caps, like the right wiring, the right wood. And this is how a Telecaster is actually supposed to sound without dropping, 7Gs on a custom shop. So
my ears went up. I heard Lawler.
Yeah. You're a Lawler fan?
Huge.
I've got them in like everything except for my vintage stuff.
Strat, Tele, P90s, and humbuckers. Yeah.
Have you played the El Rayos? I just did a demo on those.
And I saw that, and I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah?
No, I haven't tried that yet because, it seems like kind of a unique niche thing. So describe it. It sits somewhere between a humbucker and a single coil. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, I don't know if this is their actual marketing copy on it, but it's kind of like a humbucker for single coil lovers. And I sit squarely in the single coil camp, but I'm really pushing myself to get into humbuckers. So I did a series of SG videos where I went from Gibson burst buckers through Seymour Duncan Antiquities, through the Fralin Pure PAFs, which were great. But I think at the end of the day, there's just a little too much compression and muddiness in humbuckers for me to really get what I personally want from them. And the second I plugged in the El Rayos and got the height right on them, it just was so open and woody, and really, my kids are slamming on the door. So sorry if you hear that.
It's quite all right.
We do hear them.
See, the noise gate, not that powerful.
Daddy's in a meeting. Get out. It's really hard to describe for me. Like, I don't have exact EQ ratings of where the scoops and dips are, but it was the first time I plugged in a humbucker and was like, I don't feel like I need to re-EQ the amp. And like having it on the bridge and the neck, I don't feel like I have to EQ to one or the other and I can't win.
See, yeah. And to me, like, I like humbuckers on a lot of different guitars and everything, but like semi-hollow bodies, to me, I've always really preferred semi-hollow bodies with P90s because the humbuckers just get so big because it's resonating and everything. And those El Rayos might be a really cool use.
I think they're probably more in the realm of Filtertrons.
See, I don't have any experience with those.
They're very low output.
Yeah,
they're like 3 or 4K.
I mean, I think it's just like a super underwound humbucker. And but yeah, I think that Filtertrons kind of fit into that area too because they're they tend to be a little brighter. And
now those being a little different design though, those will have a certain tonality of their own, right? The Filtertrons.
Filtertrons definitely have a sound of their own.
So sidestep.
I'm just thinking it's closer in that realm to output. Like a true humbucker.
I wish I could say I'm inexperienced with that style so far, but I'd love to try them. I eventually want to play all the Lawlers. I mean, I've been very blown away by their quality.
So to back up a second, you said you did a series of videos that you went through a bunch of different humbuckers.
Yeah, to be honest,
that's awesome.
I was a little bit drunk with power because I finally learned how to mod guitars and solder recently. And normally you have to like take it to a tech and wait 2 weeks and get it back, and then you can't A/B the sound because it's been 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And to be able to do it yourself, I'm a little hooked on it. So yeah, I went through 4 models of humbuckers on my. It was like a off-the-shelf Sweetwater SG. Shout out to Sweetwater rep, who probably called me out for this because I mentioned him. Yep. And that was kind of the end of my journey. And coincidentally, I think I'm going to keep those in there. But I am talking to Lambertones about getting some of their cremas to try. So I'm looking forward to being wrong about this set maybe and seeing what else is out there.
Yeah. Very cool. I'm going to go back and watch those videos.
Oh, thanks. They're all in a little collection on my YouTube page on a shelf together. So check it out.
Cool.
Now, Jason also makes, he calls them Lawlertrons, which are basically Filtertrons in a humbucker casing.
He does some cool stuff where, he puts a humbucker into this or a single coil into
yeah. I actually have a video on that too. They have a series called the Novel Series, and they're all humbucker route size, but they do P90s, Charlie Christian.
Right.
And I have to say, my newest obsession probably is the gold foils. So they do a gold foil, and I pop that into my. I have a Prisma Sunset offset, kind of a reverse Jazzmaster thing.
Yep. Cool.
And I had Lawler Imperial humbuckers in that, and those are great, the low whine ones. Mm-hmm. But it was like when I popped these gold foils in, it just was like, oh, this is actually what was supposed to happen here. So
cool.
Really recommend those.
Well, speaking of guitars, you have a number of very cool guitars on your Instagram feed.
Thank you.
What's your number one?
Man, it's getting hard these days. So
how about your number 1, 2, and 3?
Sure. I think for the frequency of like seeing them across most of the demos, I play a blue Nash Strat with Lawlers, and I've got the King tone switch in that so that your secondary tone knob becomes 6 different levels of kind of, I don't know, it's like almost a treble bleed darkness on it and different customizable treble bleed. So that's probably the one that I played the most. But I recently got a Frank Brothers arcade with low wind 50s wind P90s, I think they call them, Lawlers. And that thing is just incredible. I threw a Bigsby in at the end, and the Frank Brothers were so nice to add it for me at the end and do some checking on the surface. So I think that's really up there. And then I got to mention that Prisma Sunset again.
So Frank Brothers, that was episode 100 for us.
100.
Oh, nice.
100, which is a long time ago. And again, so took a chance on us because even then, and they were super nice.
Super nice.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you had Benson. I might as well do it at this point, right?
Yeah. So anyways, it was, I think that their guitars are like absolutely beautiful.
Which Bigsby did you have them put on?
I didn't really understand the choice of which Bigsbys you can do, but they did the due diligence for me. They got me the one that doesn't rely on the peg holes, the pegs where you slip over the guitar string hole.
Oh yeah.
This is actually a through post, so you just feed the string through it. It's so much easier to restring than the standard Bigsby style with the spike.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten used to doing the original style with the spike, but it can in a live situation, it's just unbearable.
Yeah, I know we're not supposed to put curse on this podcast, so it's a good thing I'm not restringing a standard Bigsby.
Could be worse. Could be a 12-string Rickenbacker.
So what's number 3?
Number 3, right now I'm pretty obsessed with. I picked up 2 vintage Gibsons last year, and for the first time I've done anything vintage at all. But I picked up a '67 330 with original P90s in it, and everyone always talks like, I think it's like kind of like cool points to say, oh, I love to play guitar unplugged. I play more unplugged than I do in an amp. But this is the first guitar I legitimately am like, this sounds awesome unplugged.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does run away with feedback because it is a fully hollow body, and the P90s are, vintage and unpotted. I'm assuming. I haven't opened it up, but that is quite a guitar.
I don't think Gibson ever potted their P90s, did they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you guys had times where you wanted the guitar and you could sense you were close to getting it, but the deal could fail, and this was about 12 hours of agonizing sales process trying to make sure that was going to happen. And when it happened, I was like, man, so lucky. That would have been a really heartbreaking story.
Did you get it from a store or you got it from private?
It was a Craigslist find locally. And I went to look at like a 2012 SG, nothing crazy, right? And then when I got there, it's one of those things where he's like, hey, you want to see what else I have? And who says no to that?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he's like, oh yeah, 67 330. And I was like,
unless it's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Just be cool.
No thanks.
No sudden movements.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, he's a cool dude. I'm friends with him now, but
that's cool. I know what you mean. And I can't remember what it was. It was an early episode, but I was, it was, I think it was with Metaverse. It was one of the ones with Metaverse. And we were just about to start, and I was looking, and I see this listing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then he's like, hey, let's go. I'm ready for the show. So we start going it. And I was saying like, hey, everybody, it's me. And I'm furiously texting, trying to get this guy on Craigslist to meet me at Target, like down the block from where I was recording. And I was like, oh my gosh, if this is going to get snatched up so fast, it's stupid. And in the middle of the show, I got dinged and says, yeah, I can meet you there in a half hour. And I say,
priorities.
I left the podcast halfway through to race down to Target to get this Hagstrom Viking for
the Viking.
Stupid. Like I can't even say how stupid it is. And it was beautiful. It's black.
But did it smell bad though? Because that's the important part.
Glorious. It smelled like winning. So I brought that back, and I was like, so anyways, let's back to the show. And, he was all cool about it. I told him after so that we didn't get sidetracked on my stuff. I wanted to make sure that we covered off his stuff. But, the thrill of when you find something. Actually, that happened with the Concorde, the Sound City Concorde that I just got.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me.
If you left right now, this show to close a deal, I would hold the show down for you because I'm that kind of friend.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Well, Sean, dude, it's been super fun talking to you about all this great stuff. I would love to have you back on again in the future. And anytime that you feel like, hey, I'd love to jump on and just shoot the poop,
Again, not a phrase, but yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Trademark Todd.
Yeah. Well, we got a few things before we go.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
They aren't exactly parting gifts, but we do have some fun on the way out.
Sure.
So we're gonna head on over. We're driving past. We're in the El Camino. We're driving past Jared's house because the lights are off and there's nobody home. So we're gonna keep going. Go ahead, Tony.
Todd, at this point of the show, there's a segment we call Would You Rather?
You should have just said it like in the other segment, but that's okay. Let's go.
Yeah. Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Yes, that's what it's called. Perfect.
This one is from our good friend Bruce Bacon.
Yes?
Every time I say his name, I get hungry. Bruce Bacon. Delicious.
What?
Bruce writes to us and said, Knobs, you have a chance to be in a twin guitar British glam tribute band complete with outfits.
Ooh.
Both guitarists have vintage Marshall JMPs and matching cabs. Guitarist A plays a Closet Queen 1972 Gibson Les Paul Deluxe Gold Top and plugs straight into the amp. No pedals, no nothing. One chord into amp. There are no effects because you have to wear 4-inch platform boots.
Okay.
4 inches.
All right.
That could be dangerous, especially with pedals. Mm-hmm. Guitarist B plays a very worn Univox High Flyer Phase 2 and uses a vintage Dallas treble boost and a real Echoplex, but you have to wear an orange cape and X-ray glasses.
Okay.
Which glam guitarist would you choose to be? Cheers, Bruce
Golly,
Bacon.
that's a great question. Okay.
So guitarist A
Yeah.
is a vintage 72 Gibson Les Paul Deluxe.
Yep.
That is in a gold top.
Yeah.
And that is the one when they first started putting mini humbuckers in it.
Right.
No pedals.
No pedals. Well, what did it? What amp? Did it say an amp?
They're both JMPs.
They're both JMP. Okay.
Marshall JMPs.
Gotcha. Yes.
So you got your bases covered with.
No, they're not. The other one is. Oh no, you're right.
They're both JMPs.
Yeah.
Guitarist B is a Univox High Flyer.
which is like a Mosrite.
Semi-Mosrite.
Yeah.
Okay. Think Kurt Cobain. Guitarist B has a vintage Dallas Arbiter treble boost, a real Echoplex, and you have to wear an orange cape and X-ray specs.
Okay. All right, Tony, you're going to go ahead. Then we're going to go to Rob and then to Sean, and then I will follow up.
Well, just for fun, I mean, ordinarily I'm a guitar plug straight into the amp kind of guy, so I would have no problem with option A. But I think it would be more fun to have the High Flyer with the treble boost and a real Echoplex. Gotta love a real Echoplex. But I'm especially attracted to the orange cape and X-ray specs.
I get it.
Like he's like, yeah, the gear's cool, but come on.
That's what I'm going with.
Were the X-ray specs
hilarious.
supposed to be like a downside? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, that's
The X-ray specs are just kind of like
Is that like imagining the audience in their underwear? I guess.
I guess you could see. You can see through clothes with those X-ray glasses.
You can, but yeah, no, you can't. Just everybody, you cannot.
I read it in a comic book ad.
Yeah.
It's got to be true.
Okay, so Rob, what are you doing?
Easy. Choice A.
Okay, so gold top straight in.
Yep.
Even though it's a deluxe,
Yeah.
you don't mind those mini humbuckers?
No, it's a little different time, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Actually,
Single coily.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
going to say.
thank you.
I'd almost kind of prefer that. Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing better would be if it had, El Reyos or P90s.
But how are you going to
And
do with
we're
those
back.
4-inch heels?
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
yeah.
I'll
and
practice before the shows. Don't
Univox,
worry.
the High Flyers got P90s in them, right?
P90 style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, Sean. How about yourself?
Man, I think you had me with the treble booster on that one. But the Echoplex is just bonus. And I don't really care about the outfit. That's all right.
Yeah. I am gonna have to go with that's hard because I do like the P90s and I do like all the effects, but
Well, there's not that many effects.
I'm gonna be playing Fox on the Run with Sweet, so I'm gonna go with choice A and go straight in, big giant boots with the gold top.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So we're 2 and 2.
So we're 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
That's
When's
good.
the last time that's happened?
Maybe never,
Yeah.
How about
possibly never.
Usually I'm on an island by myself
That's true.
because I'm kind of a weirdo.
Yes. All right. So we got a few people to thank really quick.
Yes, Todd, because at this point of the show, which normally follows the Would You Rather, we thank a special group of people. These are our executive producers. Now, you might be wondering what's an executive producer. Well, let's just say it's a person that makes the podcast possible. How do you become one? Go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. And there's only one P in Patreon, by the way.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Checking emails and that.
Was that my house? I can't
Yeah.
tell.
No, I think
Like-
it was.
No,
It
you're
was
fine.
Rob. It was Chafe.
It was me.
Anyhow, check out a couple different levels in which you can participate, become a sponsor, a patron of this podcast.
That's right. Support our show.
Each level comes with a great bevy of thank you gifts, but as an executive producer, you get all the good stuff. And there's one thing more. Rob,
Get to have your name read on the thing.
you get to have your name read on the thing, and that is what I'm going to do now. So special thanks to these executive producers. Moon Guitars, Vader and Pedals, Drew Lopez, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Gary Cooper, Jason Roush, Mac D, Richard Kendall, Mark Garton, Matt Hart, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Gemolero, Bill Gola Guitars, John Esterle, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, John Anglin, Tom Brazen, John Sluhan, Rusty Sneeden, Rolf Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology, David Poe, and this week, two new executive producers. Welcome, 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 Mr. Don Kloss and Mr. Gregory Randall.
Right on. Thank you so much for supporting our great show, everybody.
Wait a second there, Todd.
Oh,
You always interrupt me.
I'm sorry.
We have another special group of executive producers. These are the top of the heap, if you will. We like to call them our grand poobahs.
Yes, you're right. That's correct.
I was just checking. Make sure it's correct.
Yeah.
As a grand poobah, you get a special fez to wear. while listening to the podcast.
Yeah, you actually do get a fez. We send you a fez.
We do send you a fez.
Yeah, with a lot of other
And
really great
lots
stuff.
of cool stuff. I don't even want to talk about the cool stuff.
And by the way, speaking of one of the cool things that we're going to be giving away is one of these books from Lisa S. Johnson, The Immortal Axe.
Oh.
Signed by
I saw the post.
Peter
Yeah.
Frampton.
Oh.
Signed by Susie Quattro.
Oh, my.
And signed by Lisa S. Johnson.
Can I sign up for that?
It is really cool.
Yeah, are we eligible?
No.
See how it works. So special thanks to these grand poobahs: Tom Emanascu, Ricardo Igareda, David Kaminga, Brandon Round Pickups, Hex Matos, Michio Murakishi, Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, John Williams, James Pennington, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Jerusik, also known as 12th Hour Devices, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Zant, Tim Novak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. Rat King. And this week we have a new Grand Poobah, Eddie Serratos.
Yes.
Welcome aboard, Eddie.
Municipal Water HOI on the Instagram.
Oh, that's
HOI,
right.
Yeah. The laser
I know some
cut
of those
ones.
folks.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we can't say thank you enough, so we try to do it every single week, multiple times. Truly, thank you so much. And, by the way, all those builders out there, if you're a builder or listening, if you got your own brand or whatever, and you want to get any of your swaggy bits into these packages that we send out
Swaggy bits.
send out to the patrons, please let us know, because we would love to include whatever you are working on, and any kind of, little stickers and pics and all that good stuff out to the people who are supporting the show, the community, and your brands and products. So thank you so much. All right, Sean, where can people find all the things that you do?
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Make sure to check out Instagram.com/Edge of Breakup, and then search YouTube for Edge of Breakup. You should be able to find me, along with every video for guitars that has mentioned the phrase Edge of Breakup. So
Brilliant.
Nice.
All right. And Rob, where can people find you?
Instagram, Mad Cow Amplification, and Facebook. And I'm going to open up a TikTok account tonight. Maybe a
don't do it.
OnlyFans. Is that what it's called?
No, you're not. You dirty bird.
You put in money and
Yeah,
you
no,
see what you
anyways.
get back.
Can I give him your cell number?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah, if
I'm
you
gonna
want to
get-
see
I'm
some
gonna give
really
him your home
cool
address,
amp
Tony.
stuff,
That's what's going to happen.
and you want to have an idea of the things that do go right and mostly wrong with amps, and how and what to look out for, check out his channel, because
Would
it's
you
really
call
good.
it Raging Rob?
Rob's
Rage of the Week.
Rob's Rampage.
We
Rob's
should make that a segment.
Rob's Rage. Anyways, Tony, how about yourself?
Go over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the wares that I have available for sale online. A lot of what I do is custom work, so shoot me an email. Let me know what you want, what you need, what you're trying to do, and I might even have some good advice for you, but I'll take good care of you.
Yeah, for sure. You got great products out there, too, man.
I got Moxie.
You do. You can send me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can DM me at guitarknobs on Instagram, and we would love to hear your would you rathers, and just all the other stuff that you want to share with us. Just say hi.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much to Sean from Edge of Breakup for sharing his time and making some really fantastic content for all of us guitar lovers out there. Thank you, Sean.
Cheers, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
Been a blast.
All right, everybody. Have a fantastic guitar weekend. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Big hot poops and stuff, man.
No. Let's just do it without him. We're gonna do
You
the
guys
show.
can have your own
We're gonna
dog
do-
show.
We're gonna do the show without you. Well, could be worse. Could be a cow.
Tony Blonsky over
Oh
here.
yes,
Pick Guardian.
from Edge of Breakup.
That's how you have to say it, too.
We can send you a sample of that.
Tony, what did you have?
Did I
before
clip it?
this?
Did I
yeah,
clip
you're.
it?
Oh yeah, you're.
Yeah.
You're in the red there. Other people have to use that mic. You schmo.
That's normally my mic.
What do you? So, do you have a generator?
Leave it alone.
He wasn't touching it, but you know how you hate like breathing and noises?
Yeah.
Because he's down there with a bone just
that's awesome. I love that.
I'm recording. Well, I'm glad I got the B-sides. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't think there was 1972. Was there a gold top Les Paul?
What the hell? That's left field.
I don't know.
But I like it. What?
I'm editing your horrible writing.
I didn't write it.
Just mute his mic. I'm not that guy that knows what finishes.
No, Jared would know.
I know
what that is. Ask me.
Yeah.
72 Les Paul gold top. I don't think they had gold
know.
tops in 72.
Text Jared.
You know, Rob,
Okay.
let's just start our own
what?
podcast right now. I've had enough of this amateurville.
You have some duct tape? You just tape him to the chair and push him in the corner?
The dog just peed on the pole.
You should pee on the base. I mean,
Let me have a little bit of this.
You didn't even do it right. Let me have a little bit of this.
I don't even think
How
it was
do I have
English.
to write this on a cue card for you clowns?
What is it supposed to be?
Let me get a little bit of this.
How many
See, now
episodes is this?
Jared is gonna eat you alive for that one. I mean, he would anyways. Rob, you want to do it?
Nope.
Rob doesn't like anything. Everybody thinks I don't like anything. He hates everything.
So there is a 72 gold top, but it's a Les Paul Deluxe gold top with the mini humbuckers.
Well, at least Rob didn't pee on the pole. Don't look at me like that.
Okay, so we're going to do a podcast? Or we're just gonna hang out?
Sorry. Yes. Well, come on. Sean doesn't have all night for this nonsense.
Why
Big
is it part of the
hot
show?
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.